WICR's AB Sports Conversation with Anthony Carlo and Benzino the Hero.
Got to give credit where credit is due. Can't give credit to Eli Manning because Eli Manning doesn't stop throwing interceptions. Not even interceptions. They're the ugliest interceptions.
They're overthrows. He's doing it on purpose sometimes.
It looks like it.
It's picked off by Seattle Maxwell. Oh, man, what an interception. The fourth of the day for Eli Manning.
It's a different part of the offense. When Carmelo Anthony's at the power forward position, he has more room to operate because even though bigger players are on him, he can just shoot over them. He's faster than bigger players in the league.
So that's what makes Carmelo Anthony special.
Yes.
Special. He's a special player because not everybody can do that.
In the hands of Anthony. Anthony for three. Puts it in! Next by one with 8.2 remaining.
But you know what's going to shock the world is if somebody comes closer to the Yankees. Cano, I don't think he's going to hesitate that much or just leave him. Think he may just leave?
Nah, he's going to stay.
Robinson Cano has agreed to sign with the Mariners.
Just fortunately for the Giants, they were on the winning end of the sloppy game.
They were less of a slob on the dinner table.
Listen to this.
The Giants were less of a slob than the Raiders were at the dinner table, and the dinner table was the football field.
I don't know how you do it. I don't understand. You come up with these things off the top of your head.
On the spot.
A-Rod and Jeter both brought in more fan excitement. There was always more of a buzz.
1-2. He loops that to left field. Going to be a tough play. Jeter on the run, makes the play. Wow. And flies into the stands. Oh, what a play by Derek Jeter.
You know how excited I am?
I know. I can see it in your face.
I'm more excited than a caterpillar on the day turning into a butterfly. That's how excited I am for the Knicks coming back.
And we are sitting here, two legends of the trade. Mm-hmm. Sports broadcasting is what we do.
That's what we do, man.
Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Sports debating, even got slipping, Stephen A. hating. Just two dudes from the 914 talking about basketball, baseball, and so much more. So tune in and don't be loony. Now let's get to the action like a Tom Cruise movie. Yeah, with your host, Anthony Carlo, Benzino the Hero. Let's go.
I think now, more than ever in the life of AB Conversation, Benzino the Hero is ready to go.
Just got back. Hold on.
Oh, man. Take a breath. Take a breather. Benzino has been running around like, and this WICR is your dedication. Benzino the Hero has been running around like crazy. Not only does he go to school as a student here, but he's just coming back from a playoff game, basketball that is, in which he rushed back here all sweaty, all energized, all tired, probably a little bit, to do AB Conversation.
Anthony Carlo, one of Iona's finest students, not only a student here at Iona College, he's doing double internships, coming in from the city, rushing through traffic, looking like a NASCAR, and he's here at WICR Studios, AB Conversation. Welcome.
You are too kind, Benzino.
Yo, did you get a haircut? I just noticed.
I got a haircut a while ago. Remember the Spring Fling or Spring Fest, whatever?
Yeah, but it looks different now.
Does it?
It looks more grown. Like the sides match. I see you did something with the beard.
Yeah, I did a little. Yeah, I gotta groom myself. You know. You gotta try some new things.
I dig it.
I dig it. Oh, I dig your hair every day. So.
My hair was looking like my entrance.
Now let me ask you. When you played the game today, how did you take care of your hair?
I usually have a hairband, but I've lost that hairband. So.
Oh no! So was it flying all over the place?
Let it run wild.
All right. Hey, we can do that.
Yes.
Whatever you want to do. If you want to let the hair run wild, we let it run.
Whatever we want to do, Anthony. I think the listeners, everybody here, we talk about sports, and we're going to get to sports today.
Absolutely. We're going to get to a lot of sports. We got the NBA playoffs.
Yes.
We got a little MLB for you. And then we got, as Benzino called it before we went on air, I like the way he named it. He said freestyle.
Freestyle.
Which will consist of a little NFL draft, a little Mayweather, a little Kentucky Derby. We got a whole bunch of things on the slate today. So why don't you start us off, Ben, with some NBA?
The NBA is in the second round of the playoffs tonight.
Yeah.
But before that, you got to finish the first round.
Absolutely.
It's 5 Game 7s in the first round.
It was.
Impeccable.
Impeccable. That was a treat for fans.
Yes.
I'd say it's a treat for Game 7s. It's just so much energy, so much hype. Now, out of all those games, one that strikes me right off the bat was the energy from the Toronto Raptors fans.
Yes.
Boy, was that an intense atmosphere.
Inside the stadium and outside the stadium.
Explain for us where those fans were congregating outside of the stadium.
They were congregating outside the stadium?
It was right outside the stadium?
Exactly.
Yes, they were. And now, isn't that so much? It tells you so much how the fans there are bursting with passion for their team, that they would congregate outside the stadium, even if they couldn't get inside, to let their team know that they were there to support.
That's cool, because if fans, they can't money-wise buy a ticket.
Right.
They feel a part of the team, even though they're not inside the arena.
Absolutely.
They feel like they're inside, but they're not.
And that's a great point. Another big, let's say, supporter of the team was Drizzy Drake.
Drizzy Drake Rogers.
Yeah, standing almost coaching. He was next to Dwayne Casey.
Pointing out the plays, run the option play, whatever, pick and roll.
You know what? I got to be honest with you, Ben. I don't know how you feel about that. I get a little annoyed about that. Why are you on the? I know why you're on the court. You're famous. You're rich. Why do you look like you're coaching?
Well, he does have part stake, a little bit stake, or he is incorporated now into the Raptors organization.
Right.
He has commercials for the Raptors. He does promotions. Mm-hmm. He supports the Raptors. He being from Toronto is very important. The Raptors are important to him. So,
I guess the whole thing that annoys me is just the way that, and I know, Ben, you're a big advocate of this because you're a rap fan.
Mm-hmm.
Ben raps his own, makes his own songs, composes, all that stuff. But when I see like Jay-Z riding the Yankees bus like he does, and I see all these rappers involved, I don't know. It's like, you know what? Stick to what you do. You know what I'm saying?
Well, rappers want to be sports people, and sports people want to be Raptors. That's what Drake said in the song as well.
That's true. That's true. I mean, Jay-Z, the only problem with Jay-Z and the Yankees is the fact that I think he was behind Robinson Cano going to the Mariners.
Oh, that's your own vendetta?
My own perspective of, he was Cano's agent. He was probably like, look, Robbie, you see the money, Bronx Bombers who?
Yeah.
Let's run.
Go for the money.
You know, and it just, it kind of angers me because years before he was riding the Yankees float when they won the World Series.
Yes.
Repping the Yankees cap, always in his rap songs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Just gets to me.
I can make a Yankee hat more famous than a Yankee can.
Exactly. Anyway, now that we're getting off track a little bit, what was your take on the whole Brooklyn Nets Raptors series?
Exciting. Young versus old. The dinosaurs, as Anthony alluded to, versus the Raptors. And the dinosaurs win. We're not talking about the Raptors. We're talking about the Brooklyn Nets.
Yes.
Paul Pierce had a pivotal game-ending block on Kyle Lowry. Broken up play. Kyle Lowry goes to the basket. Paul Pierce swats it. Get out of here.
What a block.
It's Brooklyn.
You know what? I honestly, when I sat down and I watched that series, I could tell you one thing right now. I would not have been shocked if the Raptors won. With the amount of atmosphere,
they came back. Terrence Ross threw it off Paul Pierce's foot.
Yeah,
and they came back.
What a big play from Terrence Ross! But just the intensity behind them.
Yes. Home
court advantage. A young youthful team that really is just goes ballistic behind Kyle Lowry.
Yes.
I mean, he's just such a talented young player, and of course we can't forget DeMar DeRozan. Youthful team just exploding with energy in my opinion. And I thought that really it wouldn't have surprised me either way. Even though I picked the Nets, it wouldn't have been a shock if the Raptors just won that set.
And big ups to the Raptors being the 3rd seed.
Yeah.
In the Eastern Conference. We all thought the Knicks were going to take the top spot, the Nets, but no. The youthful Toronto Raptors, and that looks bright for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. So now the Brooklyn Nets go on to face the Miami Heat.
Yes.
And you think we should go through the rest of round 1 before we move on to previewing round 2?
No,
What do we want to do here? What do we want to do?
Nah, because we'll talk about those game 7s and who they'll be
Awesome.
playing next.
Yes.
So Miami, Brooklyn, round 2.
Miami, Brooklyn, round 2. Now, I want to ask you something, Ben. The Miami Heat has gotten swept by the Brooklyn Nets in the regular season.
In the regular season.
In the regular season.
Okay.
That's 4 games.
4-0.
4 games. That's not 1. That's not 2. That's not 3. That's 4.
But how many of those games were close?
Well,
Three out. Yeah.
really, mostly all of them were close, yes. Now, the Miami Heat, give me your argument. I know what people would say. Different animal come postseason.
It is. The Miami Heat dismantled the Charlotte Bobcats 4-0. Bobcats, you guys did your thing. We're proud of you, but the Heat are the Heat at the end of the day. Now, Anthony said, is it a different animal? Yes, it's playoff times. Even though LeBron James is looking at the Brooklyn Nets and saying, KG, Paul Pierce, I faced you in the Eastern Conferences before.
We were with Boston,
we know what to do.
Yeah.
And with that being said, it's going to be a good series.
So picture this. Miami's sitting pretty right now, correct?
Yes.
I mean, they just took down the Bobcats. As you said, they dismantled them. It's a good way to, put it a sweep. And the Nets are coming off of a series where they really went down to the wire.
Yes.
It went down to one final play. When it comes down to it, the Paul Pierce block, as you said,
Yes.
was the pretty much the sealed deal for the Nets. Now, Brooklyn comes in having the advantage in the regular season. They're coming in off of, I'd say, maybe a little more of intense series against the Raptors.
Yes.
They're facing a Heat team that's been resting a little bit, but is hungry. You can't tell me Miami's come into the series saying, we got this one.
Yes.
To me, they're saying, you know what, enough messing around. We're taking down the Brooklyn Nets. That's the way I think LeBron feels right
Most
now.
definitely.
Because he's sitting down watching them lose. Must be frustrating losing 4 in the regular season to Brooklyn.
Yes.
And now I think they want to pretty much wipe their hands and let's say, boys, let's finish business here.
That's what they want to do.
Let's take it to them. Let's sweep them.
I don't think it's not going to be a sweep, Anthony.
I don't think so either.
Brooklyn's going to put up a fight.
I think it's going to Game 7.
Game 7?
I
I wouldn't
think
be
so.
surprised. But with the old legs in the Brooklyn Nets to stand
That's true.
another 7-game series,
That's true.
we don't know.
Now, I think the key for Brooklyn in this one is everything has to go right. I think, as simply as I can put it, Joe Johnson has to come up big, as he did against Toronto.
But he was slacking during that series as well. He had on and off games.
Exactly. He was a bit streaky. D Will can't. He cannot come and go. He cannot come and go as he came.
Starting point guard, you got to be there.
Exactly. The whole thing about Toronto and Brooklyn was the battle of the point guards. Kyle Lowry versus D. Will. Kyle Lowry won that in my book. I mean, if you boil it down to it,
yeah.
I give the edge to Kyle Lowry. It can't be that way in this upcoming series if the Nets want to win.
Darren Williams have to destroy Mario Chalmers.
Yes, no question about it. No question about it. Other than that, I mean, if those two things go right for the Nets, I'm saying this is going to go down to the wire, like you
Big
said.
key for Brooklyn was the inserting of Allen Anderson
Yes.
instead of Sean Livingston. Jason Kidd being his first year coach, first time in the playoffs.
Yes.
You saw Sean Livingston wasn't doing that good, even though he's been pivotal during the regular season. Anthony's one of the biggest sparks for the Nets having a good year with Sean Livingston. So switching Sean Livingston for Allen Anderson mid-playoff series, that might be a decreaser. Instead of booster, was it a decreaser? Inflation? Not inflated.
I think you're saying that it was. Well, you're saying it was a key move by a kid to bring him in.
Yeah, but
a
for-
morale booster. Is that what you're talking about?
For Sean Livingston getting out of
Right.
a starting lineup.
Getting inside of him, light a fire under him.
Yeah, so him coming off the bench, Allen Anderson. Oh, he also played for Toronto last year.
Yeah.
And now doing it for the Nets. He's getting things done, and the Nets got the victory overall.
Ben, that's a great point. You know what I want to bring up, though? I think one of the main keys, we could talk about Joe Johnson and what D. Will has to show up. One of the big things, I think, if the Nets want to win the series against Miami, is they need to shake up LeBron James, and they need to rattle the Miami Heat. Now, I saw that in the regular season.
Yes.
In one of the games they won early on.
Teletovic.
We talked about this. He tackled LeBron
And
pretty
smirked
much.
at him.
And smirked at him. And LeBron was mad. He was frustrated. And he got into his head because he was frustrated that his team was losing and that the Nets were pushing them around.
Yes.
Push the Miami Heat around, Brooklyn. Push them around, and you will have a shot to win the series.
Dwayne Wade is rested at 100% now.
Yes.
They had, I believe, 10 games in the last 40 days.
Right.
So Dwayne Wade is rested.
His knees should be good.
he should have very strong legs.
It's a good point.
I hope his legs don't give out on him in the series, but Dwayne Wade, I hope we see him as Flash. That's what he's known in the NBA. Flash.
Yes.
That's his nickname. Not Wow, not that way of Wade Wowed.
Right.
Not Trey, whatever they call him now. Dwayne Wade, Flash has to come out for the Miami Heat to win the series.
True.
And the Heat are sleeping because they're not in the news. There was 5 Game 7s. The Heat were very irrelevant throughout SportsCenter and all social media.
Absolutely.
They've been resting, so now it's time for them to play.
Absolutely. Couldn't say it better. Who are you picking?
Give me the Heatles.
You going with the Heat?
The Heatles.
The Heatles? As much as I said Brooklyn was going to win this series against the Raptors and go on to face the Heat, I'm going to have to go with the Miami Heat in this one.
It's going to be good basketball regardless.
It's going to be good basketball, yes. But I think, you know what, another thing is, it's, you know, even though the Nets had their number in the regular season, it might be, as you
Whole
said.
nother animal.
Exactly. Whole nother animal. Might be time for the Heat to come and play.
Another Eastern Conference Game 7 over the weekend was Indiana versus the Atlanta Hawks.
Yes.
And the Indiana Pacers win.
The Indiana Pacers win.
Roy Hibbert shows up for Game 7, 13-7. Wow, Roy Hibbert, 13-7. You were Mr. Irrelevant for the first 6 games. In Game 7, you show up. The Hawks, kudos to the Hawks. They didn't even want to be in the playoffs before. Leading up to the weeks, they was like, yo, we just want to be in the system.
Right.
Get a nice lottery pick.
Right.
Knicks, come on, win some games. Come on, please.
Exactly.
Wish they did, but Atlanta did win. But they didn't want to be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
The Hawks took them to 7 games.
Yes. They took them the distance.
Can the Washington Wizards take them less than 7 games and win the series?
I don't think so. I think that what you saw was in the last game of the Atlanta Hawks and Indiana Pacers series, you saw the Pacers bringing back what they were known for at their height. Good defense, suffocating defense. Paul George had 30, so he led the team on that one. Listen, it's been the same story. How has the Pacers won against the Hawks in this series? It's been Paul George.
Yes.
I mean, it's been all Paul George offensively.
It's been 20, 10, 5, 5.
Now, in their times when they have been at their height, I'm not saying it wasn't Paul George. Paul George was basically carrying the offense as well.
Yes.
But I don't think it's going to be an easy series for Indiana against the Wizards at all.
Not at all.
The Wizards, as you remember, took down Ben's team, the Bulls.
Yes.
And a team that I also predicted were going to win as well. I said Chicago was going to win as well. The Wizards are I believe they got some spark, and they're a nice, youthful team with Bradley Beal and, of course, John Wall. And I think it's going to go to Game 7.
Another Game 7?
I think it will go to Game 7.
So you got 2 Game 7s in the Eastern Conference semifinals.
Yes, absolutely.
Is it because you see the big men of Nene and Gortat having better games than David West and Roy Hibbert, or the guard play between Beal? Who's guarding Beal? Lance Stevenson. That's going to be a good matchup. That's going to be a good matchup.
That'll be a good matchup. And Paul George and John Wall. I would
think
imagine.
John Wall. Nah, maybe Paul George is going to play John Wall because even though George Hill's a defensive guard, they might put Paul George on John Wall.
That's true. I mean, as you asked that question, in my opinion, I probably will be more interested to see the guard play over the big men.
Yes.
For one of the facts that Roy Hibbert, I don't even think. How do you feel he's going to work into this equation? Will he or will he not?
Well, first round of the playoffs for Roy Hibbert, here's what he had. He was averaging 5 points, 3 fouls, and 3.7 rebounds in 21 minutes. His confidence has to be risen because the stakes are risen now.
Yeah.
Second round, you're one step closer to the Eastern Conference Finals. You got to play like it.
I think that the reason, one of the main reasons this is going to go to Game 7 is you have a Wizards team who, in my opinion, are coming in here basically riding high.
Yes.
They want, they're feeling good about themselves. They're feeling confident. They're feeling motivated. They're going to go out there with big smiles on their face, and they're really going to put their heart into this. The Indiana Pacers, on the other hand, they've been struggling. I don't see anything other than struggling from the end of their season into this past series with the Hawks.
The struggle is real.
The struggle is real, absolutely, and it's continued. I feel like the Pacers are a good enough team to not go down this early in the playoffs. In other words, even though they're struggling, they're still winning.
Yeah.
So this team obviously is a talented team. We knew that from the beginning.
They play down to the competition.
Yeah, they do. They play down to the competition, absolutely. But I predicted that they were going to win it all in the beginning of this year.
Yes.
I don't necessarily think that anymore. But what I do think is that they have the talent to go 7 games, or at least to go deep into a series with the Wizards. And the Wizards are riding high that it's going to be a toe-to-toe matchup.
Yes.
It's punch for punch, and that's the reason I'm giving it Game 7.
Andre Miller, the bench play is going to be key for the Washington Wizards. But the Indiana Pacers did have practice, quote-unquote practice, with guarding Kyle Korver is equivalent to guarding Bradley Beal.
Yes.
Banging up with Paul Millsap, that's David West matchup, that's equal to Nene.
Yes.
So can they withstand those players?
Yeah.
Hopefully so.
Hopefully so.
Once again, this is a good basketball watching.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it
And
better.
that's the motto for me.
For the motto.
I told you.
All right.
I've been told you that.
Who you got? Who you got in the series?
Give me the young boys, man.
Yeah?
Give me the young boys.
Okay, so you're going with Washington?
Yeah, Washington. Sedan's Washington. My boy Sedan, I shot him out. That's his team, Washington Wizards.
Nice.
Washington.
Nice. I'm going to go with the Pacers. I'll go with the Pacers.
We'll see how the series plays out.
We'll see how it goes.
Off to the West, Anthony.
Off to the West. Let's do it.
Wild, Wild West.
Wild, Wild West. Certainly wild, I'd say. A little bit of wild characteristics in there.
Definitely. With the Clippers coming off a Game 7 victory against the Golden State Warriors, we know what happened with Donald Sterling. Let's give a little update. Donald Sterling has been banned for life.
Yes.
From the Clippers.
Yes.
The owners are going to meet together and say, yo, you got to sell the team. You got to bounce. We don't tolerate that.
Yes.
Not also happy that got solved and happy that the Clippers advanced.
Big win for their confidence and
Definitely.
everything.
With the Clippers winning, they face OKC. OKC's coming off a Game 7
Yes.
against the Memphis Grizzlies. Game 6, Zach Randolph throws a questionable push, shove, punch, and he gets suspended.
Yes.
And overall, OKC did what they had to do. Kevin Durant, our MVP of the league, Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Let's read his stats: 32.6 rebounds, 4 assists, and he led the league in minutes. So, KD, you get the MVP. You deserve it.
Can't forget Russell Westbrook either.
He's not no MVP. He wasn't MVP, but Russell Westbrook in the series, he had a triple-double Game 7.
Combined for 60 points with KD.
And that's a good offense.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So
he was doing it all.
we have OKC versus your Los Angeles Clippers.
Yes.
What's the series looking like?
In my opinion, let's see, Los Angeles, look, they're coming off of, like I said, a big win for the organization.
Yes.
To win in the Game 7. Now in that game, they don't come away with their first lead till 7 minutes were left in the third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, if you will, a fight for them to come back in that game, dig down deep, and Doc Rivers was ecstatic. He was ecstatic. He was pumping his fists in the air towards the end of that game. He was letting go, releasing, pumping his fist to the crowd. He knew they wanted it. He knew that he wanted it. He knew that that team, just to prove they can rise above and beyond Donald Sterling, wanted it.
Yes.
So the Clippers, I feel, when I was questioning them in our last show, can they rise above the controversy? I feel like now they've not only risen above it, but they're going to use this momentum moving forward. You had also the free throws come up big in the end of that game. 6 free throws were made between Redick, Paul, and Collinson, I believe.
Okay.
6 straight complete. They completed those free throws, and that made up the difference in the end of that game. Listen, OKC doesn't play around.
They don't play around.
No.
They've been here before.
They've been here before. As you said, they have their MVP. I think KD is going to be winning the MVP, as you said.
Oh, it's official. It's like league sources, everything. They just got to say it officially.
Right. Exactly. So KD, they have the MVP on their team. They have, obviously Serge Ibaka, big man.
Serge Ibaka.
The way Russell Westbrook is playing, it's going to be a tough series. But you know what? I'm going to go with the Clippers in this one.
You have good reason to go with the Clippers, Anthony.
Momentum is one of them.
May I tell you others?
Go ahead.
Throughout the playoffs, first round of the playoffs, I'm going to tell you who leads the stats. For rebounding, 15 rebounds per game.
Okay.
That goes to DeAndre Jordan. What team does he play for?
LA Clippers.
The Clippers. Assists, 9 assists per game.
Chris Paul.
CP3, correct. Field goal percentage, 75%.
Blake Griffin.
Nah, DeAndre Jordan.
All right.
But he's still on.
Yeah.
He's still on the Clippers.
Yeah.
Blocks, 4 blocks per game.
I'm gonna go with DeAndre Jordan.
DeAndre
Yeah.
Jordan. You see where I'm going here? And steals, 3 steals a game. Chris Paul.
Chris Paul. Okay.
So the Clippers have numbers to back up Anthony's support.
There we go.
But do they have experience? This is the first time the Clippers are really in the second round. Every year they would be so good to get to the playoffs and then lose in the first round.
Correct.
This group of guys haven't been here before.
Exactly.
OKC has advanced to the finals
Yes.
once before.
Yes.
I think the Clippers will put up a nice fight. Overtime games galore, high-scoring offense. KD might go for 50 one game.
Ooh. Okay.
No, KD is going for 50.
Oh,
one game.
he's putting it. He's cementing it in.
KD got to go for 50.
Respectable.
I'm calling it.
I respect that from somebody, Ben.
Reggie Jackson plays tremendous.
Yes, absolutely.
Even though the Clippers utilize their bench more,
Yes, they do. They have a very deep bench.
you know, the players on the bench, because we like to say we got Jared Dudley,
Absolutely. I mean,
Danny Granger,
Granger comes off the
Jamal
bench.
Crawford, 6th man of the year, Jamal Crawford. Let's not forget
Darren Collinson,
Darren Collison, Hedo Turkoglu whenever he wants to play, Glenn
Yeah.
Davis.
Big Baby Davis.
Yep.
They got it, man. They got the bench.
But I'm going with
OKC.
OKC.
Yeah, you going with them because of the experience, I
Yes.
hear. That was your main argument.
Nick Collison.
It's a fair argument, but I beg to differ. I'm going to say that I said it from a while ago, it's the Clippers' year.
Yes.
So even though they got some, bricks thrown in their path to try and trip them, they forged forward, and I feel like this is going to be their year and move forward.
Nice analogy. Nice analogy.
I didn't think it was that smooth.
I
I
liked
thought
it.
it was okay.
I liked it.
It was all right.
The last series we're going to discuss
Yes.
is the Spurs versus Portland. The Spurs coming off of Game 7
Yes.
against the Mavericks. Mavericks took it to Game 7. They got blown out in Game 7. Armand, Vince Carter lost. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But they did put up a fight. That was my surprise team, so kudos to me picking that. But they lost. But Spurs versus Portland. Portland's coming off a Game 6 victory at the buzzer by Damian Lillard.
Whoa, what a shot.
What a shot indeed.
What a shot. Shot heard round the world. I think we could characterize that one as.
The shot heard in Portland is better suiting. But they did take down the Rockets. Rockets were high hopes, Dwight Howard, James Harden. They didn't get it done.
I had the Rockets in that series.
I
think you had Portland.
Yeah, I had Portland. I knew better.
Ooh, okay.
But Portland's playing the Spurs. Now, when I think of Portland and San Antonio, I think of Dame Lillard and LaMarcus Aldridge.
Absolutely.
When you think of the Spurs, you think of Tony Parker,
The big three.
and Tim Duncan.
I'm going to include Ginobili in there for the fact that he had a big Game 7.
He did.
20 off the bench. Respectable.
Very respectable. In Game 7, veteran like that. They know what they're doing. But when I mention Tony Parker and Tim Duncan, I think when they go on the court, they see a younger version of themselves.
Ooh, I like
in
that.
Damian Lillard and LaMarcus Aldridge. So those two matchups is key for me.
That's beautiful. I love that. I love how you picked that out. Another young versus old.
Yes.
It's like looking in the mirror. It's
Exactly.
like going back 20 years. Well, not that long, but,
Going back in the time vote.
going back.
The Spurs had big players from Kawhi Leonard, Marco Bellinelli. Thiago Splitter, he stood there. He got some rebounds, but he's not a big factor. I think Robin Lopez is going to have the better matchup against Thiago Splitter. The bench of Portland I like more. Thomas Robinson has more energy. Darrell Wright, Mo Williams. So I'm going with Portland, Anthony.
Okay, sounds good. So I think we're disagreeing in a couple series here because I'm going to go with the Spurs in this one.
Okay.
Listen, I mean, you put them toe to toe. Obviously, Portland has a lot going for them with the youth of Damian Lillard, and of course, now the quote he made about that shot was, he goes that that was so far the biggest shot of his career so far.
Yeah, it's only his second year. This kid's going to be good.
Right. Let me see if I can find the exact quote of it. That's definitely the biggest shot of my life so far. So he's ready to do more. He's ready. Obviously, he's ready and prepared to do more. So this one's going to go based on experience for me to the San Antonio Spurs. I know that they were there last year. Somebody as yourself might think that is Portland's turn to dethrone exactly, but the consistency of the Spurs, and this is why I've mentioned them before as being, sort of overlooked sometimes because what they're capable of.
Yes.
You know what they're going to do. But when I think about that, I realize that, the amount of consistency they put together is just unmatchable.
Yep.
Game in and game out, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and I believe Ginobili is going to be a big factor in the series as well. They do so much for that team. They lead that team. It's like, the big three in Miami, the big three for San Antonio. And Portland, hey, don't get me wrong, they're coming in with a ton of momentum, especially after the big shot. They're coming in with a more youthful, energized team, but I'm going to go with experience in this one.
Don't forget the matchup of Nicholas Batum and Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard is a lockdown defender, and Nicholas Batum's a scorer. So that'll be fun to watch.
Absolutely.
Will it be fun to watch the next segment of AB Conversation, Anthony?
I think it will be.
Because we're going to talk about baseball.
Absolutely. I don't think there's any reason to change the dial right now.
Don't change it.
Don't change it.
We will be back.